This update has Flames fans fired up. Team Canada has revealed the players they have invited to their Olympic orientation camp for the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan, and for both good reasons and bad reasons, Flames fans and players alike were extremely fired up. We're going to get into all that more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. And YouTube is telling me that less than 35% of the people watching are subscribed. So if you could do me that favor, hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot. I really do appreciate it. And again, we would love to welcome you to the wonderful Flames Digest family we have here. But let's get in and talk about the good. So the good version of being fired up. And I will also preface, you can probably already hear it, but I've got a bit of a little cold here. I sound a little nasally. Apologies for that. I'll try and get through it without sounding too nasally, but here's the good. This is great. So, as I said in the intro, Team Canada, they have released the players invited to the team's orientation camp. Hockey Canada came out with that, and one Flame was on the list, and as you can see, MacKenzie Weegar, our future captain, has been invited to Canada's national team's orientation camp set for August 26th to 28th, which I believe will actually be held in Calgary, which is always fantastic to see. So it won't be tough for him to attend that. But in no way does this mean that he has, made Team Canada, but he's made that first little list of players and has a chance to make the team. Now, a lot of people are saying that they expect, kind of the team that was at the Four Nations to be more or less the team that will be representing Canada at the Olympics. Maybe some of those younger guys, slip in like Bedard or Celebrini, guys like that. But when it comes to the defense, it's very interesting. And already just seeing Weegar get the call up to Team Canada is fantastic. Obviously, we saw how great he's done with the World Championship team, of course. And it's always great when you see a Flames player playing for their national team. Now, this is just Canada's team. There are obviously more Flames that could end up representing their country. There should be, guys like you'd assume Pospisil, maybe Hanzik. There's some other guys as well. We'll see, obviously, what does end up happening. Could we see Dustin Wolf? I know America has a lot of good goalies, but could we see Dustin Wolf? But let's take a quick look here at what his competition is looking like. I know the text is a little bit small here. You can pause and zoom in if you would like, but there are 13 defensemen that were invited to this camp. And as you can see, there are some very good ones. There's some older ones, some younger ones. If you look at kind of the little symbols beside some of those guys, I believe the trophy means that those are guys who were just on the Four Nations team. The little maple leaf means that they were part of the original players invited. I think there were 6 that you could do for each country. So the only defenseman was Makar. And then the little medal, as you can see beside Doughty there, means that they've represented Team Canada before at the Olympics, the last time NHL players were obviously allowed to go. But the list looks like Evan Bouchard, Noah Dobson, Drew Doughty, Aaron Ekblad, Thomas Harley, Cale Makar, Brandon Montour, Josh Morrissey, Colton Parayko, Travis Sanheim, Shea Theodore, Devon Taves, and MacKenzie Weegar. So obviously some very good players in there. Could Weegar sneak on the team? There's definitely a chance. I think it's more of an outside chance, to be honest. And that's just, trying to look at it from a non-biased way, because no matter what, I think everyone wants, players from your team to be represented at the Olympics. It gives you a better reason to watch the Olympics, of course, but it would be great if Weegs obviously makes the team. It will be, again, an outside chance, but you never know what could happen. He could play really well. He's got offense to his game, defense to his game, and maybe he'll impress at this first little orientation camp here and could be on Team Canada. So fingers crossed that of course does happen. Now let's get into the other way of being fired up, and it's kind of, the not so good way of being fired up. Fired up in an upset way, a frustrated way, an angry way. There's many ways we can say it, and it's funny because this one isn't even the fans more so than the player himself, but Calgary Flames Nazem Kadri not happy after being left off Canada's Olympic camp roster. That's the headline here. It's an article from Colton Panko, so all credit due to him for this little article we're going to take a look at here. But really, it all just comes down to 3 very small, little characters that Kadri used online. But yeah, Kadri not happy to not be named to this list. So if we hop in, the 34-year-old is a fiery competitor, which is what has allowed for him to have a very successful NHL career to date. Even while getting up there in terms of age, he is still at the top of his game, and as proven by his career-high 35 goals this past season. Clearly, Kadri was in the belief that his big season would put him on the radar for the 2026 Winter Olympics, but the selection crew for Team Canada seemingly had other thoughts. Yesterday, Hockey Canada revealed that 42 players, including 26 forwards, will take part in its orientation camp in late August. Kadri was not one of the 26 forwards named and appeared to be quite confused by the decision. He let it be known with a simple comment on a TSN Instagram post. So here it is. /TSN, they showed this. So Nazem Kadri, the original post was just, showing who's on the team. And then Kadri, on the original TSN post that just shows who made it, left 3 question marks, just seemingly confused, seemingly upset. Why wasn't I invited, sort of thing. And then bar down, then put up a post saying Nazem Kadri comments on being left off Canada's orientation camp roster, with just those 3 interrogation marks right there. So kind of funny in a way. I'm honestly, I'm not shocked. Kadri's a little bit more up there. He's not necessarily, a superstar in this league, and it's tough to obviously make a team. Do I think he deserved a chance? Absolutely. After the past couple seasons he's had, really carrying a bit of a dead offense and putting up really good numbers. Plus, he has everything it takes to win, as he's proven before in the past with Colorado. So, yeah, it's kind of, a funny way to look at it. He was pretty fired up, I bet, in, I guess the not-so-good way of maybe being a little frustrated. Why wasn't I at least invited? But either way, very interesting that that's the way to speak out these days on social media. Just 3 little characters right there. But Kadri has a point in suggesting he should have been named over a few others on the list. He had a team leading 67 points this past season for a low-scoring Flames team, and was able to put up 75 the season prior. On a Stanley Cup winning team, he's likely viewed as a very good number 2 center. Yeah, that's so true. He's a number 1 center on a lot of teams, and a really good number 2 center on a contender. So while Kadri does not have a point in suggesting he should have been included on the 42-man list, however, there was never really any hope of him cracking Canada's roster. As we saw at the Four Nations face-off, Canada is loaded with talent, particularly down the middle of the ice. That not only includes players with more offensive talent, but others, say Anthony Cirelli, who are far better defensively. So it is, kind of about being, a complete player. But this is an interesting take here. So seeing that Kadri is upset by this should be good news for Flames fans, however, as it will give the veteran plenty of motivation heading into what will be his 4th season with the organization. Kind of what everyone's saying about, Zane Parekh getting snubbed, what happened last year with the World Juniors. Once he was snubbed from Team Canada, played so much better. Kind of the same thing with maybe the summer showcase here. And then, of course, now Kadri not being invited to at least the orientation camp. Maybe it's more, adding fuel to the fire can really pop off once again. Just using it as motivation, I think, is a very healthy way to look at it. But overall, yeah, good way of being fired up. Yeah, we're so happy for Weegs. The not so good way, being angry. Why wasn't Kadri invited? Either way, it's interesting overall. Am I shocked by either decision? No, I think Weegar deserves it. I'm not shocked to see that Kadri's not there, maybe even if he did deserve it. But either way, I think we'll keep our fingers crossed that Weegar can impress and obviously crack the team for the Olympics. Now let's get into the comment of the day to wrap up this video, as we love to do here on the channel. It comes from the most recent video about Connor Zary and the contract situation going on with him. And good old Guitar Memoir said, I think some of our fans have to be a bit more patient. It could all be a distant memory by the time training camp starts. If Zary isn't in camp, then it's an issue. To me, it's a positive he wants to sign long-term and isn't jumping at a bridge deal. Personally, I would like to lock him up. And that's true. All of that is facts. Another thing here about Sammy Honzek. So Honzek trains with Pospisil in the offseason. So that is perhaps a bit more added value in the extension Marty just signed. Yes, Pospisil clearly has, a bit of leadership too when it comes to guys like Honzek and stuff like that. Great that he's kind of taken him under his wing, because we still have hopes that Honzek will be a very good NHL player one day. But overall, yeah, no, great take on the Zary situation. Great take about Marty and Sammy there. And overall, just love it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to what you saw here today and have a wonderful rest of your day.